The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Today will be the final day of this trial. I hope both the prosecution and defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. In yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory for this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was, in fact, Studio 2. Today I'll call on people present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. Edgeworth seems a little bit on edge today. You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls Miss D. Vasquez to the stand. Miss D. Vasquez is a producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. Will the witness state her name and occupation? D. Vasquez, I'm a producer from 4 Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer in Studio 2? As everyone here knows, yes. I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here. Very well, Mr. Vasquez. Please give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder. Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak. Day of the murder. I entered the trailer, a little before noon. The meeting began at noon, sharp, and it ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. What? At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. How do you go there if there was a monkey in the way? Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. But there's no bone there. We found Hammer's body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part in your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you. The van. There's a van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk, what with the monkey's head toppling over. Thanks. I wanted to add that so long. I see. Very well, Mr. Wright, to your cross-examination. This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it. Okay. Entered the trailer a little before noon. Give me a press on that. By yourself? Yes. And you didn't stop in the employee area? No. Are you always this terse? Yes. Oh dear. Meeting began at noon, ended at 4. Did no one leave during the meeting? No one. Come on, let's talk a bit more about that. The witness will nod to come on. Stop interrupting the testimony. The same could be said to you, Mr. Edgeworth. And please stop banging on your little desk. It hurts my ears. I like banging on my desk. There's a rehearsal. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break. And what were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk. Damn it, I'm doing what I want. It irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright. Oops. It was a 15-minute break. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front. I have to be able to present. Like, this should work. And a large bone. Theoretically speaking, I could get screwed by it. Oh, that's in the employee area. I'm gonna hope. I'm gonna hope. Huh, as I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak. But I say you did not. What's this now, Mr. Wright? Look at this. Yeah, it's a plate. This plate was on the table in the employee room. And as you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you, is a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will. Miss Vasquez and Mr. Manila ate at the table outside the trailer. See, I wanted to take that in as evidence the entire time. Yet there were no bones left on the plates. The plates were bare. Miss Vasquez? Tell me, how can a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I threw out the bone. I think I know how. You didn't eat the steak. You ate the bone too. You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere, like the incinerator. See, like, what she should just say is, yeah, we threw it outside because we didn't want to dirty our plates. So it's easier to clean up later. We ended up just throwing it into the woods, letting some animal take care of it. I see. And then what was Miss Vasquez doing during the break? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? Meeting the Steel Samurai. She was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order. Are you saying... Yes, Your Honor. Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak. She ran into the Steel Samurai, and then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. Mr. Wright, isn't that a little presumptuous? What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? Let me claim what he wants. Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it. Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be as boring as all the rest. Very well. Let's have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What was the murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes. I am, as you can see, a woman of petite stature. How could I possibly use the heavy spear as a weapon? You couldn't, could you? I think you could. It's not impossible. Well, maybe it's not impossible, but... Silence. Unspeaking. Huh. The victim was stabbed through the chest from the front, yes. I believe this would indicate that the victim was aware of the killer's presence. Now, the Steel Samurai costume is quite light and mobile. Compared to the victim, I am weaker and slower. I couldn't possibly win such a fight. Not to mention there is proof I did not have the spear. The photograph of the Steel Samurai shows that the victim himself was holding it. Or do you mean to suggest that I could have wrested it away from him? Yeah, take that, Wright. If you still think she did it, show us proof. Hey Nick, look at the data we have on the Steel Samurai spear in the court record. Isn't there something in there that gets to you? Something odd about the samurai spear. Wait. Something the matter, Mr. Wright? Sorry, Your Honor. I'd like to take back my previous claim. Very well, I won't hold you to your claim, but I'm afraid I will have to penalize you. Oh. What's this? You're taking back your claim? Let's backtrack for a moment. Wait. What does this spear say? What? How is that fucking helpful? Whatever. I want to consider whether the witness could have used the samurai spear or not. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What? Yeah, it was the fence thing, right? What is the meaning of this? It was she probably pushed him into that fence thing. Which I wish I could have, like the bent one. I wish I could have gotten that as evidence, but you know. The spear was found lying next to the victim's body. I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as the murder weapon. Oh, it was because it's been mended with duct tape? Let's try that. I present my proof. The so-called murder weapon. But that is the murder weapon. Not so fast. Remember that the spear broke during the morning action run-through. But someone fixed the spear. It was the security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who was wearing a thick costume with this through the chest? Order, order. Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what you're... Silence. I'm the one testifying here, and I will be heard. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell what was. How was Hammer killed? Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what weapon was used to kill Mr. Hammer? I can. Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the murder weapon was? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well, let's see this murder weapon then. It's a 5-year-old photo. Look at this photo. What is this? Why, that's Jack Hammer standing on top of the stairs. Order! Order! If I cannot have order, this trial will be suspended. Mr. Wright, what is this all about? I'd love to get a suspended trial. This is the last day. This photograph is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident in Global Studios. This is a photo of that very incident. Accident. Not a word of this was leaked out to the outside. There's a close-kept secret at the studios. What does this have to do with the current case? Mr. Edgeworth, you still can't see it. See the fallen man in the photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? What? Are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago? Damn. Has happened again. Mr. Wright, continue. It's 2:30 on the day of the murder. Miss D. Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had himself done 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Oh, very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say for the sake of argument, that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned to the trailer, all in the space of a 15-minute break? You did, because you took the van. How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:15 to 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, and then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? I bet she could move it. She had another way. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than her with her own hands? For instance? Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. With the van. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1, and you used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued and I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. And then before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume. Hold on, Wright. Don't forget it was Salmonella that drove the van. Are you suggesting that Manila was a conspirator? Of course he was. Of course Salmonella has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into a costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to do it because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win? Come on. So what happened next? Don't question mark me. Do you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? I lost? Something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean D. Vasquez, so it was you. You killed Jack Hammer. Let me hear it. Who can say, you bitch? Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright. We were just engaged in a battle of wits. And in the result of that battle, you proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right? But that was only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What? Order. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but, there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you know more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? Testify again. I'd like you to testify again. Testify again. Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before, the truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions and get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn. To come so far only to fail. As it seems, there are no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. I see. Very well. Never mind. Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. I just did that. You're the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly do you want her to testify about? Well, yes, Indeed. Verily, I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Huh. Nick. Why'd Edgeworth? Who knows? He probably realized she did it too. But... wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that, well, I mean, to be fair, you'll get a guilty verdict when prosecuting her. Edgeworth. He's a weird little guy. I like him, though. My kind of guy. I was with Sal and Old Bag with the security lady when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police and then Powers showed up. The security lady, Old Bag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're close, real close. She may be acting tough, though. But if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need to twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. I don't think Old Bag was there, actually. Because, she said she wanted to see him. And that she hadn't actually seen him before. I was with Sal and Old Bag. I don't think she was. What time was that? Okay, I guess he's just... But she made a whole big deal about going to see him. We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal. So I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Mr. Manoa arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. Press harder. Where were the other employees? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put Hammer in that costume with Salmonella's help. Oh. What did I just say? Did I not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes? You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy. Boy? The witness will continue her testimony. The assistant was there too. Only Powers was absent. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember. Remember? What? There's a dead body lying in front of us, yet you expect me to be calm? You certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Press harder. Wait a second. Wouldn't that be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered a murdered body and the one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I have to agree with the defense on this one. Well, Miss Vasquez? Huh. Logically speaking, perhaps. But no one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without his Steel Samurai costume, Powers doesn't actually really stand out. We often left him on the bus when shooting a location. No one noticed him missing. Poor Powers. I suppose that explains that. Very well, Miss Vasquez, you may continue. I immediately called the police. What was everyone else doing at the time? No one said a thing. It was silent, completely silent. So we stood there until Powers finally arrived at the scene. Sorry, I'm late. Then silence, dead silence. Silent. Hey, Nick. Why is everyone so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. The security lady, Old Bag, was quite agitated. Old Bag, the security lady. Why the security lady thinks Powers had done it? How was she there? She said because she saw him going toward the studio. Right, the Steel Samurai. Press harder. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seemed to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all of this after the fact. That photograph, meeting the one taken by the camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. Why? You asked to be left out? Yes. It seems that everyone was questioned. I'm not really fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that since we were in a meeting. There's no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you. Or covered it up for you. There must be a lot riding on it with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. The script wasn't in there. The script and your direction notes. Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do it wouldn't do to have them stolen. I guess not. Press harder. Wait a second, I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your scripted notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. You wouldn't have known that, though. You wouldn't have known that going to Studio 1. Who could have think of rehearsing after that? Oh yeah, I guess. No. Stop her. Very well, Miss Vasquez, please continue. No! She wouldn't have known that. You would have brought your script. You wouldn't have known there was a murder taking place in the first place. You wouldn't have known. Fuck off. Fuck out of here. I would have nailed her to a goddamn cross right there. Thank you. Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? I think Miss Vasquez, she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? Thank you. I would have nailed her to a goddamn cross up there. Good Lord. You have no knowledge of it. She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio 1. Thank you, Edgeworth. Order, order. Mr. Edgeworth. What have you just said? It's a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of career change to defense? I'd love it. I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me. The prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had perfectly good reason to believe that there would be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left him behind. Do I have any evidence to say that she would? No, I don't, but I know that's a lie. Hammer wasn't injured. How do you know about the injury? How do I, did I know? Sal. He told me. Sal, the director. You have to find something to peg this on her, though. There. Or everything we've done till now have been erased. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. No, but I know that's false because Hammer didn't get injured. It was Powers that got injured. Let's present this. You knew that Hammer was injured because that's a lie. Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in the photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. The person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. He must have gotten it wrong. I think not. He was there. Mr. Manoa was at the run-through at that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Miss Vasquez, you saw Hammer limping. You didn't hear anything from Mr. Manoa. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't Mr. Powers who was injured? Exactly, which is why she thought it was Hammer that was injured. Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah. And then when was he doing this? Well, it would have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume and went to Studio 2 where he was murdered. Exactly. Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured during that morning. Order, order. I will have order. Witness. Can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Hammer dead? Yes, I had fallen on hard times, but he was a star. He had fallen. I had nothing to gain from his death, nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there's a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? Of course I can prove it. Okay, I have proof and I'll show it to you. I present to the court evidence as to Miss Vasquez's reason for murder. It'd be the 5-year-old photo. This is my proof. This is the photo that from before. This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the rug. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial. It began on that day 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, D. Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly, it was a constant source of shame for the ex-star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We were all talking about motives here, yet you have only talked about Mr. Hammer. It seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed D. Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasquez have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me, and I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine. Mr. Wright, please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. Do I have evidence? I don't know. Fuck. Shit. Damn. Fuck. I mean, it has to be evidence, though.